You know, Professor, I have a hard time with this idea of accepting yourself as you are.
But why? What's wrong with it?
Sounds like feel good advice, not a helpful tool. In fact, I think it contradicts the very idea of self improvement.
Oh, how so?
Am I supposed to accept myself when I make stupid mistakes, or being too lazy, or hateful, or irritable? The idea of self improvement is that I'm not happy with myself and need to improve. How is accepting going to help then?
Excellent point. Let's have Helena explain this.
There is this very common mistake when acceptance of self is confused with basically a form of emotional suicide. Acceptance of self is mistaken for killing of your true self. Let me explain this. In self improvement, in our attempts to try and tackle our everyday lives problems, we come across this concept of accepting yourself as you truly are. And this is a very right and correct concept, unless you make the mistake that I have already mentioned. And what we end up doing is killing our true self, damaging our true self, thinking that what we're doing is actually accepting ourselves as we truly are. A little mind trick that we need to debunk and understand, because obviously the mistake is devastating. But thankfully, actually, what happens most of the time is that everything inside of us arises against that, and our body goes, no, we cannot do this. And then what we end up saying is that, oh, I cannot accept myself as I truly am. This is wrong. That feels wrong to me. That cannot be done. And then the rest of our struggles continue. What we are rebelling against here is not accepting ourselves as we truly are. It's against killing ourselves as we truly are. We need to recognize the difference and make the right choice, as opposed to denying the fact that we need to accept ourselves for who we are and continuing in the chaos, confusion, and struggle. So let me explain this difference here. So, why, first of all, why I say it's a form of emotional suicide, and how does this emotional suicide happen? There is this concept in life, basically, not just in psychology, not just bioenergetics, is that when you stop growing, you die. When you stop growing, you die. Physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, it applies to everything. The dynamic of how the world works, of how the creation's meant to be, is that as long as you're alive, you constantly develop, you constantly change, you constantly grow. Whether it be a blade of grass, whether it be from childhood to adult, whether it be an animal, anyway, you get everything that's alive. It's alive because it's in motion. It's in the motion of development. It's in the motion of growth. So if you stop this growth, you're going to kill yourself. And well, thankfully, we're a complex being. It's not just the physical part of us, it's an emotional, spiritual, mental, it's all connected. And then there's sub parts to each and every one of them. So even though we may be successful in studying our growth in one particular area, the other areas continue so we don't drop dead. But because we stun this growth, a little part of us somewhere is going to die off, and obviously the problems will result. So when we say accept yourself as you truly are, and it's understood that, okay, accept yourself and stop right there. This is a static state. That's where you basically asking for trouble by killing yourself, because if you stop the growth, that equals death. When you accept yourself as you truly are, that does not mean stop developing, stop growing, stop overcoming things that you feel are negative and can be better. This is kind of the essence of what I'm trying to say, but you're probably still very hazy on, well, how does that work then? And this is what I'm going to explain. So it's all going to get out of the state of confusion here in just a few minutes. But this is a very important, the essential thing of what I'm trying to say is that when you accept yourself for who you are, this does not mean stop growing. So now let me explain the difference. When we talk about accepting yourself as you truly are, we talk about accepting yourself in different states. You can be like this and you can be like that. Nothing goes into the dark side, nothing gets locked in the dungeon. If you're not sure what I'm talking about when I talk about locking yourself in the dungeon, do read the Demystifying Bad Luck vibe. That's where I explain that concept in a lot of detail, but hopefully the rest of you who are here have already read it and we don't need to go over it again in the same degree of detail. Basically, no part of yourself is evil, it's how you use it. So let's jump over to the example. Let's say you are in a conversation with a friend and you're talking about something or other subject. Raising children, cooking, deer hunting. Or you're in an office and you're working on a project. But anyway, so whatever your setting may be, a person comes out and they get frustrated over something that you said, something that you've done. Say, you are stupid. You are an idiot. Well, you feel bad, obviously. So the difference of how bad you feel would depend on whether you accept yourself as you truly are as a whole being or not. If you were raised in a family, in a setting where you were constantly blamed, shamed, put down, called stupid, you may have this negative imprint in your mind, a negative program that is telling you, I am stupid. I will never amount to anything. I can't do anything. I will never succeed because your parents have put that negative program, negative imprint in you by telling you, hey, you will never amount to anything. You can't do it. You're useless. You're stupid. And so as a child, you absorb that. And now it's a belief or a limiting belief in your mind that I'm nothing, I will never amount to anything. And every time you undertake something in life, you try to start a business, you try to do a project in the yard, something small, you will always have this barrier. This will not work. I cannot do it. I don't have the energy to do it. And as a result of that, our defense mechanism is to overthink. Then we say, okay, well, maybe I need this first and that first, and I need to take this course before I start this business. Or I need to buy this and I need to pre-plan that. And before you know it, a simple yard project has just grew into a monster. Those are examples of how this imprint of "you're stupid" works. So, how does accepting yourself help you overcome this particular negative imprint? In this case, if you have read the Demystifying Bad Luck book, you know that we are dealing with the dragon that locks you in the dungeon. This is the part of yourself that you are not in touch with, because in a sense it is a negative imprint. It's very unpleasant. But when that negative imprint is there, in order to protect yourself from that pain, you lock it in the dungeon and you deny that part of self. I cannot be stupid. I will not be stupid. I claim that I am smart as overcompensation for this little worm in my mind telling me that I am stupid, and I will totally deny any part of myself that may insinuate that I am not smart in any of shape or form. So that part is locked in the dungeon. Again, it's a counter reaction. We're trying to hide it. We're trying to not deal with it. We overcompensate, we counter react, and so we lock this part of ourselves in the dungeon. And we know from the Bad Luck book, where does the dragon that locks us in the dungeon hide? Or how do we find those negative imprints? How do we know we have this negative program? How does it come to our radar that, hey, this is something we need to deal with? And that's by how we feel about others. So when somebody comes out and says, hey, you're an idiot, you're stupid, if we say, okay, well, you think I'm an idiot or whatever, one asshole's opinion, move on, no problem. If our reaction comes with a lot of emotion, with a lot of hurt, with a lot of energy behind it, it's like, how do you dare say I'm stupid? I'm so insulted. You are such a jerk for saying I'm stupid. I hate you. Then they've just knocked on the door of that dungeon, and that's why we hate them. And we are dealing with that particular dragon. Again, if you left the book, you know that getting mad at the person who said that it's not going to do anything. Getting mad at ourselves for being stupid is even worse, because where we need to focus our blame, where we need to apply our sword, is that, I am dealing with a dragon that locks me in the dungeon. And what did I lock in the dungeon is the feeling or the notion, the fact, maybe even, of I cannot be stupid. So how does accepting yourself as you truly are will look like in this situation? How do we let that part ourselves from the dungeon? And it's accepting yourself in any state, in any form that you come. So we are talking about a project, and they brought up some kind of marketing thing, and I said something about marketing, and the reaction that I'm getting back is, you're stupid. And you know what? Yes, I can be stupid when it comes to marketing. Yes, in that particular area, as compared to the top salesman of the world, I am stupid. I admit it. I'm not a car salesman who can wheel and deal every day. When it comes to marketing, I am stupid. When it comes to psychology, when it comes to reading people, when it comes to even something else, even cooking dinners, I'm smart. And I'm smarter than a lot of other people in that area. But when it comes to marketing, I am stupid and I admit that. Everything is known in comparison. So who am I comparing myself to? If I'm comparing myself in marketing to somebody who never sold anything in their life, I'm smart. If I'm comparing myself to the top salesman of the world, I'm stupid. If I'm talking about, let's say, cooking, when it comes to somebody who can boil an egg and who burns their toast, I'm smart. When I'm comparing myself to the top chefs in France who create exquisite dinners, I'm stupid. So everything is known in comparison. So when somebody comes and tells me I am stupid, and I accept that, yes, I can be stupid. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I can be stupid in that particular area. In other areas, that does not make me stupid. Then I've accepted myself as I truly am. I can be smart in this area. I can be stupid in this area. And that's okay. I allow myself to be stupid. I don't have to be smart in everything. And in fact, I will never be. I will never be both the top chef in France and the top salesman at the same time. A lot of those things are mutually exclusive. You know, you're either a pushy salesman or you're a caring person, you know, to an extent. So that's what acceptance of self looks like. I come in different colors, I come in different states, I come in different forms. I can be very smart and I can be very goofy and stupid. This is how I am. So, away with that negative imprint that I have to be smart. I do not. That's okay. And because I'm not smart, that does not make me any less interesting as a person because I can be very smart in all other areas. And there is a place for me in the world that does not include being smart marketing. So that's what acceptance of yourself is. The emotional suicide that the dragons, the dragon that spits fire comes in there and tries to make us make this mistake, make the shift between accepting ourselves and committing that emotional suicide of stunning our growth, is that just because I'm stupid in marketing right now, does that mean I can't use a course in marketing and bring myself up to par with that? Absolutely. So just because I admit I am stupid, that does not mean I need to stay there. The other state of me is the desire to learn, the desire to grow, the desire to get better, and go on from there. So that's a very common mistake that's made is when we say, well, if I accept myself, that means it's static, it's final, I am okay there. Everything is fluid, everything is changing. That's the difference, is that when you accept yourself as you truly are, that does not mean you cannot want, you would not want to grow and get better. The difference here is that when I want to grow, it's because I want to grow. I'm taking a step from good to better. And I'm not doing this as though I'm being chased by a pack of wolves, because I can't take this state. I'm not okay in this state, and I need to run away from it as quick as I can. And I need to do something yesterday because I can't stand being in that state and I need to get out. That's when we start looking for shortcuts. That's when we start looking for quick fixes. And beautiful loser, it's quicker and easier when you fall. When we go for quicker and easier, we end up being a loser, and that's when we fall for get rich scams and open up a can of worms of trouble. But if we say, hey, I'm okay in a relaxed state, that's when good ideas come to us. That's when we see opportunities. That's when growth occurs the way it is supposed to occur. So hopefully I've answered the question of what is the difference between accepting yourself as you truly are and committing emotional suicide. Stay tuned for further development. And I hope you subscribe. I hope you read the book Demystifying Bad Luck if you haven't yet. Till the next time.